Hey y'all, it's Laura, and I am part of a little video hop every Thursday from now until the mid-November using distress oxides. We are going to show you some great ideas for using your distress oxides. I'm going to be mixing with modeling paste today and working on this layout of my dad and my husband on Father's Day. This is a few years ago. And my dad has since passed, so any photos that he's in are really important, and I want to make sure that I really give that feeling of him when I do his layouts. I just feel like that's really important when someone's gone, to really kind of express them in their photo layouts. So in this case, my dad was a mechanic. And he was always really grease covered when he came home from work, and his pans were permanently stained with grease. So I thought it would be cool to do a very messy layout for him. This layout's going to have some of this beautiful green and orange, which turns a bit yellow with the modeling paste added in, but that's totally fine. Now the reason I'm going with some warmer colors, even though there's a lot of tealy blue and gray in this background already, is because the photo is quite warm. There's a lot of wood grain and a lot of warmer colors in the clothes in the photo, so I want to kind of lend towards that and make the layout work better with the photo. The collection I'm going to be using to scrapbook this photo is Coco Vanilla's Boys Rule, which is their newest boys line, and it's very blue and green, and that's very much the color tone, but it's so cool because I'm using it for a grown man's Father's Day layout. You can also use it for a boy layout, young boy layout. You could use it for a teenager's layout. I love this page in particular. There's a handful of pages that look like they've had extensive mixed media work done on them, but they really have not, and it's just made that way. I love that because sometimes you feel like getting super messy with your mixed media, and sometimes you don't. With this, you don't have to. You don't have to dive into mixed media, and maybe you just like the look of mixed media, but you don't feel totally confident in jumping into a full page of mixed media. This is a great place to start. So I'm using this as my base. I'm going to add in the modeling paste through this Vicky Bouton stencil, all of which I will link below for you guys if you're looking for it. Easy peasy to find. So now I'm going to be adding some splattering, and this is just simply stamping the Distress Oxide onto this mixed media pad that I'm using from Fiskars, adding a little bit of water from my water brush, and splattering away. I mean, it's super easy. It's a great way to get your splatters that perfectly match what you've done with the modeling paste because it's from the same ink pad. So that's kind of a cool thing that you can use it for both. And essentially, Distress Oxide is simply pigment. You can add it to anything, any glazes, any modeling paste, any kind of mixed media product that you would normally add pigment to, like gelatos or mists and sprays. You can use the same thing with Distress Oxides. I am going to go ahead and mount this layout onto this scrap piece of paper. This is an old piece of paper that's in my stash that's super thin, and it is a really nice wood grain. So I did go ahead and back it onto that piece of paper to A, get the paper used, and B, because I really liked the idea of adding some wood grain onto this. Now I'm going to map my photo first onto some white paper, which is, again, the back of an old piece of paper that I'm not interested in anymore. I feel like it's better to use it than pitch it, so I just get it used. I just use the other side. This is the 6x8 paper pad from that Boys Rule collection. I'm going to pull out some greens and some blues and these beautiful stars, and of course, a wood grain. I love wood grain, and it's been a while since I've really done a layout using a nice bold wood grain. This one I really like. It's kind of caramel and honey, and I really love the warm tone of it. It depends on what I'm scrapping, but sometimes I prefer a nice birch looking wood grain, you know, and that's really specific, but it just really depends on what you're scrapping. In this case, I really wanted something warm. I want to bring in the warmer tones, and one of the reasons that I want to do that is A, because those colors are in the photo, but also because my dad is quite pale in this photo, and I want to kind of warm up the photo just a little bit. I didn't want to do a ton of photoshopping to it or anything like that. I don't want to misrepresent what he looked like at the time, so I just want to try to warm up the photo with paper. So now I'm bringing in the ephemera and the chipboard. Now, the chipboard is not adhesive. This is very different from what you normally see from scrapbooking supplies, and it is new to Cocoa Vanilla as well. They have started doing non-adhesive chipboard, and I love it. It is awesome. You don't have to fight to get it off of the backing, and you can move it around your page easily without it sticking down before you're ready. So I'm just going to start embellishing like crazy. But first, I'm going to pop this up onto some adhesive foam just to give it a little bit of lift and make it easier to tuck underneath of it around the sides, which was my initial plan. And I'm just going to be grabbing bits and pieces and adding them with some double-sided tape around my photo. I want to talk a minute about design. When I'm designing a layout, I will quite often choose to do a diagonal flow from the top left or the top right and go down diagonally. In this case, we're going to go from the top left down to the bottom right, and I've purposely placed my photo up in the top 1/3 of the layout. Do I put it in the center? Sometimes I do, but quite often I will either put it up near the top, off to one side. You'll notice that it's not usually square in the center of the layout unless the entire rest of the layout is part of a bigger design, like a hand stitch design or something like that. I will often do that. And that's just a matter of creating interest. By leaving some white space open and then having some busier areas, it allows your eye to adjust to the busier areas by having a place to rest in the white space areas. So that there is a good reason that we do that as designers, is we are purposely thinking about how our viewer is going to look at the layout. Now, I really liked this ephemera piece that said the king of everything, because that's kind of a running joke in our family, that my mom is the grandmaster of the universe, because when my oldest son was young, he could not say grandma, and for some reason he was calling her grandmaster. And so she is the grandmaster of the universe, and my dad is the king. He is kind of the lion king because he has a tattoo of a lion on his shoulder. And so that I thought was very appropriate. He also happened to be kind of the center of our world for a while, and he is one of those people who just knows how to deal with people. He's one of those folks who could reach out and make you feel comfortable no matter who you are. It didn't matter who you are. You're a kid, you're a dog, you're an older lady. It didn't matter. My dad was brilliant at making other people feel comfortable with him. And he was really, really good about getting to those people who sometimes get neglected, who sometimes don't stand out in a crowd. He would be the one to go up to them and invite them to join him for lunch. He would be the one to stop on the roadside and help them out. So I thought this was appropriate. He is such a giving, loving guy. He has such an incredible personality that I think it's important that he has a prominent place in my albums. So you will see, especially in the next month or so, a lot of photos of him being scrapped, because I've reached that point in my scrapbooking. I'm hitting the end of 2015, and that's when he was diagnosed with cancer. And that's when I started taking a lot of purposeful photos of him. I mean, I had always taken photos of him because I loved him dearly, but I started taking more purposeful photos of him with the kids. So you are going to see him pop up quite a bit. And this was about 3 years ago. He passed away at the beginning of December in 2015. And so that's where I am in my scrapping. I am hitting the end of 2015, and hopefully I will have a layout flip and, well, not layout flip, it's an album flip. The 3 albums that I have for 2015 should be finished by November, and I'll be able to do a live album flip with you guys very soon, and I'm excited about that. So back to the layout. I'm playing with a lot of bits and pieces. I didn't want to do another title, so I'm just grabbing smaller things. This little Yeti man is hilarious, okay? When I saw this little bearded dude in there with the sunglasses, I cracked up for a good 2 minutes, because my dad is well known for his full beard. All of his brothers have full beards, and I thought, this is perfect. This is perfect. So I put it down, and I'm like, you live here now. now. He was absolutely going to stay there. I'm so happy he's on this layout. Y'all don't know. I cannot tell you how goofy that thing is and how hilarious I find it at the same time. So the main embellishments in this collection are stars, and I think that is the perfect choice for a boys collection. I mean, in a lot of feminine girly collections, you get lots of hearts, you get lots of florals. What's left for the boys? Stars. Stars are perfect. Plus signs are perfect. I'm so excited to be doing some boy layouts for you guys in October. I promised you I would. Guess what? I am fulfilling that promise. I am doing as many as I can so you can get a lot of inspiration for scrapping your boy layouts, because even though you may not have boys, you may have husbands or brothers or dads to scrap. So this does cut out a little early, and let me explain what happened. So I just finished this layout and stood up to turn off my camera to realize it had died. Not sure where it stopped, but I'm pretty sure I was in the midst of embellishing. So if I decide to put this video up, I thought I'd give you a quick explanation of what I did that didn't make it onto the video. Likely some of the minor embellishing up here at the top with chipboard and some splattering with the Heidi Swap Color Shine. A little bit more over here with those tiny enamel stars that I like, as well as some journaling down here below, and then a small cluster of both chipboard and ephemera pieces here at the bottom. So you didn't miss a whole lot, I don't think, but I thought it was important to explain that this layout has a lot of meaning for me. This was my dad's last Father's Day before he passed away, and this picture is one of my favorites. It's one of those really important moments that I want to make sure that I take the time to document, because when he was going through chemotherapy for esophageal cancer, seeing the kids was the highlight of his day. He loved to see them. He would come over to the house and just play with the girls and just spend time with them while the other kids were in school, and it was really awesome that we were able to capture some of that before he passed away. So I thought I would share that with you guys today. I hope you will check out the other ladies on the video hop, learn how to use our Distress Oxide inks. We all seem to have them. If you don't, I do have a Mixed Media 101 video that I'll link below as well, showing a lot of other techniques for using Distress Oxide inks. But that's it, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, bye!